What up, y'all? It's your man, Abuamerican. What's good, people? What is good? It's the Phillip Show here for your relationship questions to answer them as best as I can. I don't have any funky stories today. I wanted to do this yesterday, but things got so busy that I actually just missed it. By the time I got reminded, the missus reminded me. She was like, "Yo, it's like 11. You ain't on live," and I was like, "Oh yeah." Because I just got busy with other stuff. But the stuff is now completed. Automotive. Got my new BMW today. Went and picked it up. I was printing out all the documents I needed yesterday. I went and picked it up today. Inshallah, I took a long train trip with my kids to go pick it up. Got myself a customized, special customized 3 Series. Should have got a 5 Series, but whatever. I was like, whatever. This thing was ready to go today, so I got it. So yeah, alhamdulillah. I don't like waiting. I hate waiting. Something I hate. I'm just an impatient person. I ain't gonna lie. I'm impatient. So it is what it is. But I don't. Jazakallah khair. I'm coming for all. Jazakallah khair, man. Barakallahu feek. So I just decided, that's the one. And I'm not disappointed. That thing, it handles like a beast. I used to sell cars. I used to have like a car business. It's what I just did. All I did was, bought and sell cars. I'd send them to Dubai and parts. I'd send them to like Kuwait. I'd send them like all over the world. Sometimes I imported like, GTRs from Japan, right-hand drive, and then I'd like sell them to people here in Germany. And so I was always driving like new cars. And I had a 5 Series. It was a 530 that got into my hands. And I actually drove that for a while. I actually liked it. I mean, it wasn't great compared to some of the other cars I had, but it was a good car. Of course, the BMW handled well for, the massive, vehicle it was. Yeah. And it never left like a really strong impression on me. What's up, man? Supaluki. Supaluki. Yeah. It never left a good, it didn't leave a bad impression, but it didn't leave like wow impression either. The car that left like a wow impression on me, and whenever you guys got questions, go ahead and ask me. I'm just ranting here till questions start coming in. The car that left the biggest impression on me was Subaru WRX. I'm good, man. I'm always good. Subaru WRX was another customized car. It had like a boosted turbo. They took out the old turbo, put in a bigger one, and then of course, so it could produce more pressure without a whole bunch of work. Veil Princess, no specific topic. It's even Phillip. This was supposed to be Friday show that I accidentally did on Thursday. And so since I didn't do yesterday's show, I'm just doing it today. So if anybody's got questions, I'll answer it. I'm just telling stories right now. And yeah, that thing, whew, you talk about power. I've never. No, that's not true. I've driven a more powerful car. So I imported that WRX here to Germany, and that thing had like 600 and something horsepower after customization. I'm coming for all. No, I'm not. I'm not willing to say how much it is. I spent a lot of crypto on it, especially in like this bear market. I took a hit, on my crypto, but I don't care. I'll just mine more. That thing was crazy. I mean, it was a 6-speed, and it would peel out. I mean, it was a 4-wheel drive, and all 4 wheels would peel out in every single gear. You could be on the Autobahn doing like 220, and when you go from 5th to 6th, well, actually a little bit less than 220 because you're going to be in 6th gear at 220. But if you were like at 180 and went from 5th to 6th, because that thing you'd run the revolutions really high, it would peel out on the Autobahn. I was like, man, that thing's crazy. But actually, I did drive a faster car. It was the, what is it? Fairlady Z. What is it? The 300ZX? That thing was insane. That actually scared me, that car. The Fairlady Z 300ZX, I think it was a 300ZX. Was that what it is? I can't remember. Let me look at that now. I just remember it had the name, the Fairlady Z, and I ordered it because someone said he wanted it. What was it? There's a whole bunch of them. Jeez, I don't know which one. Anyway, was it 280? Whatever. It was one of the fair ladies. He's one of the, there's so many now. And that thing had insane power. I think that had like over 1,200 horsepower up to customization. And that car actually scared me. And I sold it immediately. Because usually I drove them around a little bit, try and build up some hype. And then, I could jack the price up higher when people really wanted and were begging me for it. And I remember I was driving through Kaiserslautern. And I was racing an Audi. I can't remember what series it was. Since last year in August or September. I think it was August. Salam, bro, do you know if Muslims are allowed to join the military in non-Muslim countries? If not, do you know anybody who can answer that? I don't know. There is an article on abukhadija.com. As far as I know, there's a difference of opinion on it. Some people hold that it is permissible. Others hold that it is not permissible. So depends on who you listen to, but yeah. Even if it's not permissible, it's not something that like a lot of the takfirin and like, just the ignorant masses out there, the morons of the ummah, it doesn't remove you from the religion of Islam. That much is for sure. It just make you sinful. So yeah, I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, so I was racing an Audi and there's this turn, there's like a stoplight and it goes, the main road goes on a turn. And I remember I just hit the gas and it was just like, I was just drifting around a corner. There's no topic today, Akhi. There's no topic today. Today's questions. Anybody got questions? They dealing with some goofy situations. I'm trying to help them out, but nobody seems to have any questions today. So I'm just ranting about cars right now. Yeah, so I started drifting around the corner, man. It's like, ooh, that thing was just like, it just wouldn't hold the line. It was like just drifting and everything. I guess it was actually a drift car, but this was before drifting became a thing. What do you think about doing jihad in Muslim countries that are suffering? You have to ask the ulama about that, man. That's fatwa level stuff. But I mean, jihad has very specific conditions, and we do not see those conditions being met right now. So it is like calling for jihad right now without the conditions being met is like calling for the salah without wudu. You see what I'm saying? It's like there's conditions to the salah, right? You have to have wudu, niyat, and all the other things that come along, the proper aura. And so there's conditions to the salah. And if you don't meet those conditions, then you can't pray. Or if you try, then it's invalid, right? And jihad is no different. Jihad has its conditions, and the conditions are not met. Now, what you have to do is you have to go to the ulama, you have to ask them about this, because the conditions about being under a Muslim ruler and these types of things, these are some of the conditions that there are. But there is no emir or mu'mineen currently in our time, unfortunately. So you definitely need to talk to the ulama about this and get their opinions on it. But as far as I know, the conditions have not been met. So, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Barakallahu feek, and the same to you. I mean, so let's see. First question, Jazakallah khair for, bring us on track here. I really don't know what to do. My mom and stepdad, and mostly some of my family members, want me to be a career woman and have something for myself before marriage. Show them my video. They won't like me if they watch more in that video, but show them my video, the one about what's the title of it, where I use the coffee beans to explain why a woman should go into marriage before career, and then after marriage and after children she should go into career. I don't think it's like bad in general, as long as the Islamic conditions are met for a woman to go into career, but I think it's being done backwards. The women are using the best of their reproductive years and their beauty years to go into a career, when really it should be the other way around. You use the best of your years to find a very solid, good mate, the best that you can possibly find. And then after you have children and, your best of your years start to pass by, and that's not to say that, you become worthless because, you lose attractiveness or beauty or whatever else because you get older. That's not what I'm saying. But when that, when you pass that point, you have kids and everything, then you should go into career and education and all this type of stuff. Because of the world and the way it is now, you can start careers later in life and there's no problem with it whatsoever. So I think this is more appropriate. I made an entire video about it. It's like a good 30-40 minute video. And I go into detail as to why, I think that's the best path for women. Maybe you need to watch it and use that logic and explain it to them, or actually send them the video. It's probably best to watch the video, get the logic and reasoning down, and then go to your family. Because if your family watches this video and watches me, they're going to be like, yo, we hate this dude. Because, I just say whatever I want to say, however I want to say it. And I don't take into consideration people's feelings. And so they're not really going to like me. As we know, a lot of the Muslims don't like me just because I just speak raw. And so it's probably best to just learn the logic and reason. And if you find it, logical and reasonable, then present it to them, inshallah, and stay on, about it. It's best for you to get married first, inshallah, in my humble estimation. Yeah. My dream is to seek knowledge, become a dress designer and homemaker, which of all of those things don't require leaving home. Yeah, absolutely right. You can run a home business. That's even better than, going into education later on in life. I mean, I think it's best. I really push my wife actually, she runs my YouTube channel. She's my YouTube channel manager. She does like all my thumbnails. She does, she does my, my TLDs, my top level domain business, all that stuff. And she's gotten really good at it, to the point where it's like, we've turned it into a business of our own, doing thumbnails, headers, graphics, all this stuff. She did all my books. If you ever bought, if you bought any of my books, from the Mad Monkey to the, to the vetting guide, to this, to that, whatever, I got some more books coming out. She does all of that stuff, all the design, all the layout. She's really good at it too. So, she does that from home. We make a decent income off that. So yeah, sister, you got your head on right. You should present that to them, inshallah. How do I break it to them? I don't want to go to 9-to-5 college. I want to get married in my way early 20s. Wait. And that I want to get married in my way 20s. Yeah, just tell them that. Just tell them I want to get married and I want to have a family. I don't want to start a family. I want to follow the sunnah. Who's going to debate with that? If they want to debate with following the sunnah, having children early, got other problems, just express it to them. I mean, I think this is a big thing with sisters, y'all are unfortunately being pushed into situations to where it's like, you have to act like men, where it's like, you have to go and convince your family to do what's right. And that's not to crap on your family. That's not what I'm doing. But it's just like, this should be logical. This should just be to your family and oh yeah, this is probably a good idea, to get her married as early as possible. And now you have to go and confront this, when it really should be the men in your family. It should be reversed. We're in a position where it's like the men in the family should be trying to convince feminism infected sisters to go out and get married instead of chasing career. But now we got sisters, and a lot of sisters, actually wanting to do things the opposite way. It's like, and then, the men in their family are actually taking a feminist stance. It's the weirdest dynamic that's happening right now. So man, I'll make it easy. Go to them directly, sister. You'd be surprised at how open your families are to these types of things. I think this is maybe part of the female nature where y'all have a less aggressive, less, more shy type of nature. And men are more not confrontational, but we're not afraid of it in that sense. I don't know if women are afraid of it, but you know what I'm saying. I think, I find that women tend to be less aggressive in pursuit of their personal interests. And this is another reason, just coming in to bring in other, modern issues into things. This is why women make less money than men, because men tend to be more aggressive in asking for promotions, and women expect to be recognized for their hard work and their efforts and talents, and then be offered a raise. You got to switch that dynamic here with your family and just go to them and be like, hey, look, this is what I want to do. And you'd be surprised. They'll probably be receptive. I was talking to a sister for a while. She's from the Asian community, and she has a proclivity towards guys of my ethnicity, which is, very wow, you're an Asian sister that wants a black guy. And she went to her family about it, about being a second wife to an African-American man, and her family was actually quite open to it. They were shocked, but they were open to it. And I pushed her. I said, look, just go to him. I said, because, just sitting here on the fence, worrying about it for the next 2 years, it's not going to get you one step further to what you want. And, they were just they really wanted her to get married. She was pushing her mid-20s. She had never been married. This would be her first marriage. And her family was actually quite open to it. So, you never know how your family's going to respond. Take it to them, and just explain it to them. Inshallah. May Allah make it easy for you and grant you the tawfiq. Bidnillah. Ameen. My man. Team Tea in the jar. No. I just been busy. We had a shakeup. Blockchain Bros is 3 guys. And my homie Alex, he just joined the team. The third guy, Alex, just joined the team. And Dimitri, gracious interest, he's always been there from day one. And what happened is just we had conflicting schedules because we're all in different countries. You know, he's up north in Europe. Alex is over in Eastern Europe. I'm here in Germany. And so because we just had conflicting schedules and everything, we didn't do a show because we couldn't be on the air at the same time. We should be on air tomorrow, inshallah. Even if we're not, I'm going to be on air no matter what, because, you know, I can't leave the show off air for too long, or people just going to forget it, you know, or like you know, say it crashed or whatever else. And now people think we freaked out and we dropped the topic. No, not at all. It's just a matter of conflicting schedules, you know, and guys not being able to like unify schedules for like the past couple weeks. And I just generally don't announce that stuff. I just, you know, skip the show altogether. But we'll be back. I'm going to be back tomorrow no matter what. But I do believe Dimitri will be with me tomorrow. I'm not sure if Alex will. Inshallah. Oh, there you go right there. Bell Princess watch a video titled Marriage or Education, Which Comes First by Dawud Adib. Very powerful lecture. Jazakallah khair. You know, Dawud Adib's my man. I love that brother. MashaAllah. I haven't talked to him in years, but, you know, he's a good brother. MashaAllah. Getting married to my wife in a couple of weeks. Your advice is highly appreciated. Barakallah feek. May Allah bless your marriage. Ameen. And grant you long, permanent, till death do you part upon the sunnah. I mean, that is some Christian stuff, but you know what I'm saying. You know, in a good way. Yeah. Yes. That's a good point. What is her name? Something Princess? Veiled Princess? Yes, this is also a good one. Dua. I forgot this. This is Barakallah feet for your brother, to your brother in Islam, for the beneficial reminder. First we ask is Allah. That's the first one we turn to. So make sure you make your dua first and foremost. That Jazakallah khair. My man, you're Vaz. What's good, huh? My internet always craps out on me here. Yeah, if you go to college, then make sure you're married. You know, I'd say don't go to college unmarried. So, yeah, there you go, brothers and sisters out there giving advice to the sister. Jazakallah khair, you've been thanked. On a crypto note, Ethereum switching to proof of stake might be a problem. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I don't know if proof of stake is halal. Proof of stake, as far as I understand, is halal. I'll go ahead and answer this one, even though it's not relationship. We'll probably deal with this tomorrow, but I'll go ahead and take it right now. Proof of stake is I'm pretty sure it's halal. Everyone's confusing the percentage. Percentage doesn't always mean riba. So, you know, in this particular regard, when you look at the fundamentals of proof of stake, it isn't in a riba sense. It's a percentage. It'd be like if you, let's say 5 guys invested in a business and you just put your money in and said, here, I don't really want much, but I just want to invest. And so here's 25%, and I expect to be paid out 25% of, you know, all income post, you know, costs or whatever else. Is that riba? No, it's not riba. It's a business deal to where you invested in a business and then you get a percentage of your investment out of it. Proof of stake is similar. So it's not really like the percentage in terms of riba and halal. I mean, excuse me, riba and usury, you know, in that sense. It's more like an investment in the mechanism of securing the blockchain. Because proof of stake is very, very technical. It's not something that the average guy can do. I don't even trust myself to be able to do it. And I learned how to do the GPU mining. I don't trust myself to try and do proof of stake because proof of stake is it's too dangerous. You know, you're talking about 32 ETH. Yeah. Even right now in the crash, Ethereum is over $2,000. 32 ETH is a lot of money. And they have slashing. So if you mess up in your proof of stake node, if you're running a proof of stake node or whatever it's called, what's it called? Validator node. And you mess up, they have what's called slashing, and they will slash 50% of your Ethereum. Now I'm not broke, but that's a lot of money to me. That's basically 30,000 ETH or $30,000 in ETH just gone because your internet crashed or your power went off. You see how my internet is like real dodgy? Yeah, just imagine that happens to me. I can't control that. Well, it doesn't matter. I had less than 98% like uptime. Boom, you get slashed 50%. It's just not, it's not something I would mess with, period. I just find it too risky in my humble estimation. Miss Abuamerican says, Bill Princess, start your home business thing from now. This is a good idea. Your parents will look at it different after you're making some money from it. Inshallah, they just want the best for you. from their point of view. That is a very good piece of advice. Yo, man, boy, you funny. Okay, let's see. I live in the UK. It's better. Is it better to marry a woman raised in the UK or from back home, Bangladesh? Most Muslim women raised in the UK are feminists. Should I take chances or search back home? You can find good sisters in the West, bro. You just gotta do your due diligence. You know, you gotta vet those women. The women in the West, you have to approach from the position of disqualification as opposed to qualification. I talk about this in the vetting guide that I wrote. You know, that a lot of brothers, they look for qualifiers in women instead of disqualifiers. And one of the things I do, I start off is from a disqualifying standpoint. It's like, what are you doing that I can like kick you to the curb? I'm just like, go ahead, do something stupid. Say something stupid. Say something, sister. Say something. You know, and then usually they say something and I just disqualify them. And if you can find a sister who can like get through all those disqualifiers, you know, then boom. Because women start from the position of disqualifiers also, you know. And so that comes from a non-scarcity mindset. You should do the same thing because generally when the relationship goes bad, guess who's the bad guy? You could do everything right and guess who's the bad guy? Guess who's going to play victim? Guess who's going to all of a sudden be an abusive husband, even though, you know, you never raised your voice or a hand? It's going to be you. So you should, excuse me, you should be extraordinarily picky from the start, inshallah. So if you can find a sister in the West, and it's easier, obviously, to find a sister in the West because, you know, you're both in the West, then find that sister. If you can't find that sister, it's becoming like just, you know, a heartache, whatever else, and it's like becoming difficult for you. You know, you're losing your patience. Then head home. You know what I'm saying? How do you introduce the idea of polygyny when looking for another spouse? This brings up a second question. Was this a conversation or ruled out when you got married to your first spouse? I've only seen, let me think, one? That brother, I can't remember his situation. Maybe two. Definitely one situation. Sorry, guys, I had to think really hard there. Definitely, I've only seen one situation to where it's like polygyny was not discussed prior to marriage, and then the brother went out and got married, and it worked. Another brother, well, I'm trying to think if it even worked. He got married for a little while, and then no, it didn't work. So generally, if you have not discussed this from the start, it's really not going to work. It rarely works unless you got that one very unique sister. Listen to that one unique sister, not your, and I'm not attacking you when I say this, Shoaib, but not your delusional idea of what you think your wife is, but she's actually an exceptional woman, and she truly is. And then it's like, you know, the book and the sunnah is more important to her than anything else. And then so if you go out and get married, she's going to be like, yeah, okay. Allahu ta'ala alam. I don't mean to be, you know, offensive, bro, but if you're asking a question here, she's probably not that woman. And so unless you have that woman, it's not going to work, you know. But if it was discussed prior to marriage and then you've been married 5 years, let's go, carry forth, do what you want to do, you know, because this is an understanding in her mind at some point that like, you know, okay, yeah, this guy, he's got it in his head. But if you never discussed it before, now you come out of the blue 2-3 years later after marriage, well, let's get ready to rumble. In this corner, we have Shoaib M, who wants another wife. And in this corner, we have, you know, your wife. You better be ready to throw down, homie. So, you better get ready for some WWE. She girl go in on you, you know. So, yeah. It's hard to bring up, man. It's hard to bring up later on. It's hard to bring up after the fact. If you, like I said, if you discussed it from the start and 5 years, 10 years, I don't care how many years pass by, she's going to be upset because you can be like, dang, this dude waited all this time now? And then she's going to have different thoughts in her head because now she's going to be thinking like, oh, he waited till I got old, had some kids, whatever else, and now I don't look pretty anymore. And that doesn't have anything to do with anything. She's just going to have all of these insecurities popping in her head, you know? And if she's young, she's still going to have some sort of crazy stuff in her head, you know, even though it doesn't make sense to us as men. So either way, you're going to deal with some sort of stress. There's no way you're going to escape it, you know. So if you just want to do it, no matter what, discussed or not, just go forth with it, man. And don't be afraid. Don't be like, baby, you know, I was thinking, maybe, I'll just go for it. Say, look, and listen. Hold on. Let me come back here. Let me step this back a second. Don't approach the topic before you have a prospect. And when I say a prospect, I don't mean your aunt mentioned her to you in passing or you matched with a sister on some matrimonial app. I mean, you're talking about we're getting married next week on Wednesday. Then the day before you go, to get married, you tell her, say, hey, look, I met the sister, I'm getting married. Inshallah, I'll be back in 3 days if she isn't a virgin. I'll be back in 7 days if she is a virgin. And you just let her know like that. She gonna freak out, whatever else. But if you mention it now and then you want to go look, what you're gonna do is you're gonna have all the stress of having 2 wives in the beginning, because it's a stress in the beginning until you find stability. And you're going to have none of the benefits. You're not going to be going between 2 beautiful women that you hopefully love, inshallah, and love making love to. You're not going to have those benefits. And so you're just going to have like one angry wife who's going to want to try and, if she doesn't fear Allah, she's going to try and punish you by withholding the hoo-ha. Okay? So don't mention this stuff until you're absolutely ready. And then if she wants to withhold, when you tell her, like, hey, look, I'm going to get married tomorrow. I'm getting married, next week on Monday. She can withhold because you know what you're about to score when you get married again. Because that girl should know that you have a wife. And what's she going to do? She's going to turn it up. She's going to be like, oh, okay, I need to steal her place because that woman understands women. And what happens? Competition automatically comes in. She's like, I'm going to steal her place. Because women don't play. Women are very competitive. They're vicious in their competitiveness. So that's why they be telling each other. That's why they be telling them fat, ugly sisters, oh, you're beautiful. They killing the competition. Don't think they don't know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. So take that advice, inshallah, and do with it as you please, inshallah. Hopefully that answers your question. Do you have an investment portfolio and advice on where to start? I have a brother in my group, in my men's community. I'm not going to mention his name here, but that brother, mashallah, he started off, I think it was like 7 years ago. He started off 7 years ago, and this brother just cleared $1 million in 5 or 7 years. I can't remember exactly. He cleared $1 million, and then now he doubled it in like 6 months. He's the best guy to ask. If you get in my men's community, ask him. That brother, he's got a solid plan that's been working for him, mashallah. Even I listen to that brother, and he's not only crypto. He's spread across different investments. Brother's got over $1 million in 5 years, and then now he said like in 6 months later, I think after he cleared $1 million, it's doubled. So, yeah. What do you think of Abu Osama al-Zahabi? Nothing good, unfortunately. Back when I first became Muslim, he was on it, and he got canceled. Man, Allah guide him and us. I mean, I had a lot of love for that brother. He had some good talks. The brother was kind of wild, but he started saying and doing some crazy stuff. Unfortunately, hanging with some strange people. So yeah. If it's permissible, why does there need to be a conversation? Because welcome to 2021, bro. And even the ulama said this. Back in the days, there was an old tape. Back when you actually had the Rus on like cassette tapes. Muhammad al-Anjari from Kuwait, he had a talk called Ishratun Nisa, good living or good life with the women. And he talked about this in here, how it's not obligatory to tell the first wife that you're going to get married or the new wife that you're going to get married. It's not obligatory upon the Muslim man to do this. He's not supposed to lie, but he's under no obligation to tell either woman about other women because it's permissible. So he can just go out and do it. He can just go out and get married. It's absolutely halal. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. 100% halal. He talks about this on like cassette tape, with the lil. If you want to listen to it, yeah, I'm not sure if you can find it anywhere, but look it up. And in there, he also talked about discussing this matter with your wives before you get married. And he was of the opinion that you should discuss this with them, because basically he was like, the idea is like, well, if you can't discuss it with her, you're really not the man to be doing it anyway. He says, this is not from good manners. He says, this is not from good adab. It's not from good manners between the husband and wife to just sort of spring this on her, So, and he presented his logic on it. I don't think there was any Islamic dalil or proof that, you had to do it, but he just held that it was from good manners between the husband and wife to discuss this with her. Not like debate it with her and like, oh baby, what do you think? I wanted to do this. Can I get your permission? Not like that. Just like it's something that should be discussed with her. I'm going to do this, and wakeda. So that's where I took this opinion from in terms of like discussing it with the wife, from Muhammad al-Anjari. This is my stance generally. People get mad at me because, oh, American, you give advice and you've been married like 100 times. But my entire stance is, look, this is not a prison. My marriages are not prisons. And if my women are not happy, what am I going to do? Am I going to hold them prisoner here and like have miserable women in the house? Yeah, I could stay married to a miserable woman. Why would I do that? You're going to make my life miserable, going to make my children miserable. So, I'd rather release the woman than be in a miserable marriage. And people are like, oh, you're a horrible guy. No, I'd be a horrible guy if I kept the woman in a miserable marriage. That's a horrible guy. I'd be a horrible guy if I was miserable in a marriage, So just release them. Say, okay, look, I tell them all the time, and they hate the statement. My wives hate the statement. Go find your happiness. Go find your happiness. I don't mean it in a mean way. I don't mean it in an evil way. I mean it sincerely. I don't want you to be miserable. And if being with me is miserable because I have another wife, a wife you don't like, or this, that, the other, man, then go about your way. Go about your business. Go and find your happiness. They never find their happiness. They always all want to come back. I got like maybe 1 or 2 exes that don't want to come back. All the rest want to come back. Why? Because I'm a good husband. MashaAllah. Allahumma barak feek. So like 2 don't want to come back. Dude, there's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is keeping a woman in a miserable marriage and you staying in a miserable marriage. There's nothing wrong. People listen to me. There's no shame in getting divorces and all this type of stuff. If the sister doesn't want to be in a polygynous marriage and you feel that's something you want and you need, I can go get married. I don't want you to ruin your marriage. Obviously, don't do it. Try and find the best way. Find a compromise, but not a compromise where compromise equals capitulation. And this is what most men end up doing. They end up capitulating because when you surrender what you want as a compromise, what did you get? I want another wife. She doesn't want me to have another wife. Where's the middle ground? You end up without the wife. You didn't compromise. You capitulated. You surrendered. You gave up. You lost. So compromise where you both get something positive out of it, and everybody's happy. But don't capitulate, And there's a lot of guys that confuse this. Oh, yeah, I made a compromise with my wife. I didn't marry again. Nah, my niggas, you capitulated. You gave up. Nigga, she got your balls in a bag. Stalker-in-law. But sorry, she got your cojones in a sack, homie. They're in her Gucci bag. So just accept that, your manhood is predicated off what your wife tells you can and can't do. Just go ahead and say it, bro. We ain't gonna hate you. We understand. You're gonna join the legions of brothers out there that are like that. You can't cowboy up. You ain't got the cojones to do it. We don't hate you. We're not mad at you. That's y'all. Y'all are mad at us to do it. Just admit you could do it, but like the brother said, if it's not going to work and that's what you really want, let the sister go. Say, okay, you don't think you're going to be happy here? You want to go find a better husband? That guy, regular Mr. Joe Regular? Me, I'm going to go marry 2 sisters that are down. 2 sisters to where it's like, although it's difficult on them, they understand it's permissible and they put the book and the sunnah and the permissibility of that ahead of what they feel. That's what I do, I don't want to see brothers out here getting married, divorced like I do as much time as I do. I really don't. But it's just like, that's what's going to take, for you to find your happiness and her to find her happiness. Don't be miserable. Don't be miserable. Because I talked about this like 3 or 4 episodes ago. Great brother was a pro athlete and could have went to pro athlete, could have become a pro athlete after college, married a girl, and she just beat him down. And he just ended up being this huge, fat, overweight, miserable guy. Why? Because he wanted to marry multiple wives and she wouldn't let him. And he was miserable. Miserable. And to him, he's proud of himself. All these people coming to my channel talking about Abuamerican, they're proud of that guy. He became miserable and overweight. Dude had alpha genetics. You could look at him. 6 foot like 4. With a belly like a yoga ball. Literally like a yoga ball. It's like someone stuffed a yoga ball down his throat into his stomach. Because instead of making love to beautiful women, he was making love to food. So if you want to be that guy, then be that guy. But me, Abuamerican, I'm not doing that to myself. All right, baby, you don't want to be here when I get another wife? Yeah, khalas, man. All right, bye. The Abuamerican divorced again. Okay. But I married 2 more women. I'm happy. She's happy. She's free. Why are you mad at me? She's free and she's happy and I'm happy. That right there. That's it, man. Go for it. Sorry, I went on a rant there. Polygamy is a topic that should be discussed because you can see some potential red flags when you bring the topic to the table. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I remember this sister. There's a sister I wanted to marry her really bad. Moroccan sister. Man, she was. Oh, make my gives me the shivers thinking about that sister, mashallah. But you know, she was like, you know, she played this high post, you know, religious game. But you know, when it came down to polygyny, it's like Islam stopped existing. You know, it was a major red flag. So yeah. One man tried to marry another woman and told his wife she lost it, and wife broke his phone. He got cold feet and now is trying to look for one without her knowing. You see, look at this. Why would you do that to yourself as a man? Why would you do this to yourself as a man? I'm not. This guy ain't solved one problem. Now he's trying to bring on another one. It's like that hadith, not hadith, sorry, what's it called? Riwayah of Aisha when the man came to her for knowledge. And I mentioned this a lot. It's like, you know, the guy, she said, you're like, she asked him, but he came to her for knowledge. And then he left and came back and she said, did you implement what I taught you before? And he's like, no. She said, you're like a man who tries to lift up a bundle of wood and he can't. And so his solution is to try and pick up another one. Wayne Ridge Island, where's the manhood? Where's the manhood? Yo, you just gotta squash that stuff. You break my phone, girl. You know what? I don't care what you do. You better figure it out and buy me another one. You better sell all your hijabs and never leave the house again. But you gonna give me another phone? What you talking about? Break my phone, girl. I will. How to keep her interested after marriage? You know, people got mad at me when I said this on Twitter, but I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you real. Abuamerican's gonna keep it real with you. Abuamerican's gonna keep it real with you. Y'all can get mad at me for this. Twitter got mad at me for this. Twitter Muslims got mad at me for this. But I'm going to say it. You treat your wife like you never had sex with her. Treat her like you never had sex with her before. Look at her like if she's a woman you never had sex before. That right there, program yourself to do that. Look at your wife like a woman that you've never had sex before, never had sex with before. But obviously, we're talking permissible. Look at her like you've never, quote unquote, banged her and you want to. She's going to be interested because you're going to treat her differently, because you're going to treat her like a woman that you're interested in having sex with. Not just having sex. Obviously, you love her, you know, and you're living with her and you are having sex with her. So she's not just like, you know, some raw, you know, porn object or whatever else. But you are going to treat her in the way that you would a woman that you're attracted to. And you should be attracted to your wife, you know? And so you're going to treat her differently because we all know, I came from Jahiliyyah, you know, I wasn't always Muslim. So when, you know, there's a girl and you're interested in her and, you know, you're like, hey, I want to smash. You treat her differently. You're like, you know, he's like, what's up, baby? How you doing over there? You treat her with all that hooty-hoo niceness, whatever you do, you know, to do those things, whatever is necessary to get her attracted to you, you know, to build attraction. And then after you build attraction, what you want to do is maintain desire. And this helps you do that, man. Think of her as a woman that you've never had sex with. Muslim Twitter get mad about me because I said like this, and it works. It's like, what? Why are you mad at me? I know this works. So, whatever. I don't plan on taking a second wife. I just don't see it happening. I do keep these intentions to myself and not let my potential wife know if she asks. What? Do I keep these intentions to my? Yeah, don't tell her. It's not her business. Maybe you want to change your mind one day. One day, maybe you'll change your mind and you want to do it. You tell her, oh, no, baby. You know, I don't want to take another wife. You tell her that. One day you might change your mind. Then what? Now you got an awkward situation where you are an incongruent liar. You told me you never wanted to marry again. Well, you know, I met the sister. She's special. I like her. You know, whatever else. I met the sister. She got a situation, you know, and I decided to marry her. Then what? Because you don't know how you have wasted parts of your life. If you go from this year to the end of, like, maybe say the end of next year, without changing some aspect of the way you think, inshallah, for the better. So how are you going to feel about a woman now, or another woman now, should or possibly could change in 2, 3, 4, 5 years? And if you just, nah, I'm not going to marry again, then 5 years later, you're like, I might actually want to marry again. That sister over there, she's kicking game, you know? Her uncle came talk to me internet playing screw again. I'm ready to mingle. Get me another wife. And you done told her that you're not gonna get another one. You will be rightfully viewed in her eyes as an incongruent liar. Better to give her an uncomfortable truth than to tell her something that might change. And there's no problem with changing your mind. But she's not gonna see it like that, because all she's gonna remember is what you told her. I wouldn't mention that stuff. Should be. Yes. The keywords there. You say he should be able to. But we live in 2021, bro. We in different times. Do you see any benefits of avoiding KYC? Bro, unless you're using something like Monero or any of these privacy coins, everything's traceable back to you at some point. The moment you go from cryptocurrency to fiat currency, there's no way you can do that unless you do it peer-to-peer, that you can't be traced. So unless you're using some sort of privacy coin, it's just impossible, bro. So yeah, the problem is the blockchain, the ledger is open. That's the entire thing. It's completely traceable. It's completely transparent. That's the beauty of the blockchain, But at the same time, it's a hang up if you're looking for privacy. So the only way you can actually avoid that is maybe using privacy coins or whatnot. So no matter what, bro, it's always traceable back to you one way or another. Even privacy coins to a degree. No, I have not. Is it possible for your wife to see you as that guy or hold you in high regard if she's moving in with you while you're living with your parents? Or would it matter if you're doing both? Allah Ta'ala. I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so. But I've never actually dealt with this situation in terms of like talking to sisters that actually can't. No, it's tough, bro. It's tough. Actually, I've had sisters, talk to me about this. They live with their in-laws, and then because of the in-laws, the husband defers to his parents, like he rightfully should, but it makes him look weak, because a lot of times, the sister might be dealing with some sort of issues with her mother-in-law, or with family, and then the brother defers to his parents in that situation. And so now what happens is she's having a conflict with someone in the family, and he's here in the family hierarchy, no matter what, because he's still the son, and so her problems get kicked to the wayside because her husband can't properly defend her, I think it's a bad idea. In my humble estimation, I know this is a cultural thing. When I talk about goofy culture, and this to me is a goofy culture thing, I think you should live with your wife in her own place. There's only one exception that I make to this is like, when I say, and I talk about this, if you're very, very young, like, I'm talking about between 16 to maybe 22, 23, and then it's like, if you think your kids are going to fall into haram and you want to get them married, then those kids can live with you in your house as an adult, because they can't take care of themselves, but then they can have a halal marriage and halal relationship, without any haram going on, and they can do that under your roof. But they're minorities, really. They're really, they're not minorities, they're minors, and so in that regard, I use 16 because that's the age consent in Germany. I'm not going to talk about younger and all that stuff, but I'm just saying, that's the only really exception I would make, when they're figuring life out, university, all this stuff, trades and all this stuff. And so money's not readily, on tap for them. That's the only exception I personally make. I understand different cultures have different ways. I'm an American, so yeah. Yeah, but resources are abundant. Allahumma barak fiq. It says, from what I've seen, polygyny is best for the family building, but it just takes a lot of resources. Yes, but alhamdulillah, Allah's made it so that resources are abundant. So it's just a matter of being industrious, inshallah. Yo, Link, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yo, Link back. Oh, man, this is going to get wild now. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's a bit off topic, but how much does a house in Germany cost, and what are the rental prices? What is the cost of living? Bro, I mean, that's various, man. If you go up north, price is ridiculous. You can pay $500,000 to, starting at $500,000, going up. Down south here where I'm at, the armpit of Germany, 50,000. The price of a car up to, I'd say, like maybe $250,000. for a very, very sizable, nice house. Rents are also vary wildly. If you're in the city or if you're outside the city. Outside the cities, 500 euros will get you an entire house. Inside the city, 500 euros might get you a shared room. So it varies wildly. I think that's everywhere in the world, though. Do you feel, I don't feel anything. I only think, bro. I'm not a woman, sorry. That having multiple wives and tons of kids takes up a lot of time and resources. Do you think it would be better to stick to one wife, build yourself up when you worth 10 million? What's the sunnah, bro? The sunnah is to get married early, though. This goes back to what I was saying. It's a matter of being industrious. When you're young, you have more energy than anybody I know. When I was young, I tell that story all the time. When I was young, I used to do everything. And this is why I tell these freaking idiots, those morons, those trolls on Twitter. I tell them all the time. I type a little tweet here. Put that trolling to work to make you money. They got energy to spend all day on Twitter just trolling, never getting paid. And one thing that I wish I could do is go back in time and spend all that stupid time I spent doing stupid stuff, doing something industrious. Because you got endless energy when you're young. So take advantage of it. Why? What are you doing otherwise? Dude's playing PS5 and watching Netflix or something. Dude, put that stuff to work. Industriousness and resources, they go hand in hand. Dudes just don't want to do it. Let's just be honest, bro. The foundation of your conversation here, of your question here is, I just want an easy way. I want it easy. It really is. I want to chill, not have anything going on, work and build up this stuff nice and slow and easy. And then when I'm worth 10 million, I go ahead and put the crunch time on. But I was talking about this earlier today to my kids, because my kids want me to pick up my new car. I was saying, it's like, the person who's given something, he doesn't know how to maintain it. If I give a person $10 million, they're not going to be the same as the person who earned $10 million. Because the person who earned $10 million, he understands the work it took to get there. So he understands what it takes to get it back. He understands what it takes to maintain it because he's built that skill. But the person you just give $10 million to, they just got $10 million. He has no idea how to build it, how to maintain it, because he didn't build it, And so what's he going to do? He's going to screw it up somewhere or another. He's going to mess it up. He didn't go through all the hardships, running into idiots and whatever else, people trying to rip him off. People see him coming up, and coming up and actually becoming something and trying to tear him down, trolling him or whatever else, trying to destroy him, his ego, his personality, his drive and his confidence. They don't know how to deal with that. So what do you think is going to happen to you when you get $10 million and try and get multiple wives? You're going to end up just like those non-Muslim guys who get divorce raped when they get all their money and then go marry a hot girl. He didn't come up in a life of understanding hot girls or living with hot women and all this type of stuff. And then what happens? He runs into the first one, is like with waves in his direction. He's like, oh my God, titties. And what happens? Yeah, he's like $5 million less after his marriage. She takes half of everything. That's going to be you. It's my humble estimation, man. The sunnah has hikmah in it. The sunnah has wisdom in it. Maybe you should try and follow it. Because this don't sound like, Islam. I mean, yeah, absolutely. You can build your way, whatever else, but then how are you going to get experience in a halal way? You're not. So it's going to jam you up one way or another. It's going to jam you up if you wait and you don't know what you're doing, or it's going to jam you up if you wait and you're doing it the haram way. So you later on, you know what you're doing. Or you can just learn now. You just learn what it takes to balance it all out. I was 19 with twins. I did okay. I was in university with kids and working a job and partying. Dude, if I could do that, that's why I hate hearing this. Man, I hate these stupid. I got exams this weekend. When I did exams, I did parties, I did some stuff. I had kids. I had a job, university. Did it all. I did it all. You know what? There's just the only thing I'd like to change is the time that I wasted going to parties and clubs. That's the only thing I'd like to change. But I don't know. Was it hard to Islamically marry a Lebanese Yemeni girl? The Arab girls be crazy out here. Arab girls are crazy in general. I don't know what it is about Arab girls, man. I swore them off now. I just swore off Arab girls. They got some extra drama going on, man. They pretty, but they come with some crazy drama. They just be going crazy. BTC, homie, Bitcoin. You can easily have 2 wives on that paycheck. Allahu Ta'ala Alam, I don't even know if it's permissible. I don't even know if it's permissible. Me, I'd walk away. My opinion is, because I don't know if it's permissible or not. I mean, I can't make that. It's not a fatwa. I can't make a fatwa, but I'd question its permissibility. How are you going to, I talked about this on another episode. How are you going to rule you can't have something that Allah said you can? What if you marry a vegan sister and she says you can't eat beef? Where does it stop? I mean, if you can stipulate that a man can't have multiple wives in the marriage contract, then why can't you stipulate he can't drink water in the marriage contract? Why can't you stipulate he can't eat beef in the marriage contract? What can't you stipulate in the marriage contract if you can stipulate in the marriage contract he can't get married to multiple wives? Because it's a permissible matter. So if you can stipulate you can't do this permissible thing in the contract, then you can stipulate all of the permissible things in the contract that you can't do. Well, brother, I don't like that you drink water. You can only drink orange juice. Why does that seem crazy? Well, brother, I like chicken and lamb. You can't eat beef. Or you can't eat any beef or any sort of meat. You can't eat chicken, lamb, fish, or whatever else. She could put that in the marriage contract. Where does it stop? If you can rule out and cancel one permissible thing, you can rule out and cancel all permissible things. Tell me I'm wrong. How on earth are people accepting this? That's the first thing I hear when I hear you can't have another wife in the marriage contract. Well, nigga, you know what? Well, you can't have water and you can't have beef. Okay, I'm gonna put that in. But that's all right. I won't take another wife, but you can't have any sort of meat products or water. What's to prevent you from putting that in the marriage contract? That's what you know. That's what I think. That's what I think. If a sister says she's gonna put that in the marriage contract, you put that in the marriage contract. All right, sister. Well, look, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna have another wife, but you can't have chicken, beef, fish, lamb, or water. You can drink orange juice and have a bunch of pasta. Okay, I might put rice on there just to be a little kooky. That's what I think you should do. Then hopefully they understand how ludicrous they sound. Well, you can't rule that out. That's permissible. Oh, wait. Whoa. Slow down here. What did you just say? And cats be agreeing to this stuff. She'll never agree to that. So why would you agree to that? Even if you never, like our brother was talking about in the chat, I never intend to do it. Doesn't matter. Okay, I never intend to do it. I still wouldn't put it in the contract. You know why? Because it's permissible. What kind of crazy is that? You're gonna write off Allah made this halal to you, but you can't have it because I say so. Wow. Allahu Akbar. I'd do something like that. I'd fear that lightning would strike me from the sky. Wallahi, I'd be afraid to just challenge an allowance of Allah. And then I have the arrogance, the unmitigated kibr to say you can't do it. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Wallahi, I'd never marry such a jahil dog. I'd never marry such a jahil dog. Listen to me. I would never marry from, man, I could just call them sisters dogs. Yeah, wallahi, I'd never do that. Astaghfirullah, I shouldn't be calling them dogs. I apologize for that. That's a bit out of line. But you have a special kind of crazy to think that you have the right, the haq, to come into Allah's religion and just start abrogating the religion. The frick did I leave Jahiliyyah for? Why did I become Muslim? I left Christianity because they just make up the rules how they want to. Do you understand? Have you ever asked anybody who's reverted from Christianity to Islam, ask them about Christianity? These niggas just be making it up as they go on. Well, you know what? You can't do that. They just make up their religion how they want to. They just say, oh, yeah, we can do this. And no, you can't do that. Oh, Jesus died for my sins. I can do all that and whatever else. And now the Muslims come along and start doing the exact same thing to their religion. What did I leave Jahiliyyah for if I'm going to come to a religion where people just start making up the rules of the religion how they want to in the first place? Wallahi, that's why I be calling them dogs and I be getting mad. Because they just acting, wallahi, they're acting exactly like Christians. Usa, calm down. I'm mad for the sake of Allah here. Wallahi, I find that just a special kind of arrogance. I'd never marry a person who tried to stipulate that. Sorry. I apologize for getting worked up, but I get mad. And I shouldn't be calling sisters dogs, but man, what are you doing? What are you doing? Is this Islam or is this Christianity? What are we doing here? You see, y'all ask me these questions, boy, I get mad. Whew. Heart beating. Americans 48. I'm gonna have a heart attack on screen. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My brother Adil, welcome. Excuse me. I got worked up there, guys. Forgive me, please. Excuse me. American be getting kind of emotional. When marrying two women, financially viable? I mean, I personally, it's their right. It's the right of a sister to have her own place. I like to live with my wives under one roof. I prefer that because just even where I'm at in Germany, it's just hard to get a place around here. You might be 15, 20 minutes down the road. What if there's an emergency? I got to drive 15 minutes to go save my wife. You know what I mean? I prefer to have my wives around me. What's the benefit of having multiple wives? You know, if you're not going to have them close to you, if you can have multiple houses close to you, let's do it, you know, because it's not always easy. You know, women are emotional creatures, and one day they just do that little emotional thing. And you're just like, what the heck's going on here? You know, and and if you have multiple wives, you have to keep your finger on the pulse of the relationship and everything that's going on in the house. Some days they just come up with some goofy, and you're like, okay, let me rewind here and see what happened. You know, and you got to figure stuff out. To them, it's like natural. So sometimes it's easier because women need space, man. They need space. You know, they need their alone space. And I talk about this in my guide to polygyny. The polygynous household, you know, that women need space and all this is one of the, you know, one section I talk about in there. They need space. You know, sometimes they just need to be alone, you know, even from you, you know, that whole don't touch me, hold me type of thing that they do. You know, sometimes they need space, bro. That's just reality, you know, so because they're emotional and, you know, don't try and go in there and try and figure out their emotions, whatever else. You got to leave them to deal with their emotions. You're not a therapist. You know, you love the woman, you treat her like you love her. But when she goes on her special crazy, she got to deal with that on her own, you know. And sometimes, you know, being just close to people, that's too much for them. You know, some women, not all women are like that, but, you know, you don't get to pick. It's like, you know, it's like the lottery. You don't know what kind of woman you're going to get, you know. Allahu Ta'ala alam. I don't know. I'm still looking, bro. I'm looking. You know, we were looking at Turkey, but there's some problems with Turkey, and, you know, and so I don't know. I'm still looking. If I find anything out, I'll let you know, inshallah. I mean, Kevin Samuels, I don't know if he really gives relationship advice. He talks about problems. Does he give advice? I don't really watch his shows a whole lot. I mean, what he talks about, you know, in women with their, you know, crazy demands for high value men, that's spot on, you know. But in terms of his advice for relationships, I don't know what he actually promotes. Unfortunately, I don't know. I only have an American passport. My children all have multiple passports. I'm a teacher by trade. I studied automotive engineering in my first 2 years of university. Then I switched to environmental engineering for the third year. And then I ended up teaching English as an English teacher. There's no tips. Just go do it, man. Just go do it. Everything you're going to need, you're going to get in the school. Your cardio, your muscle strength, your techniques, it's all going to be there. So you just need to go do it. Yes, it is. You can go to my website. You can contact me there. There's the chat bot. I don't know if the chat bot's active, but the chat little window is. You can drop me a message there, or I do believe there is a contact me form there, inshallah. Yeah. I'm just getting to the comments now where I was on my rant. Barakallahu feek. Yeah, it's true. It's like you can't. How you overriding what Allah is allowed? I don't even get that stuff, bro. I don't understand, bro. Y'all gonna work me up again, man. I'm coming down these comments. I'm just finally catching up. I lost my cool. I'll lose my cool again. Inshallah, the fam's gonna take care of it. Inshallah, barakallahu feek. You know. No, I'm not. I'm not gluten free, bro. I eat whatever I want, but I just make sure to not overeat. I don't overeat. I stopped working out. I want to start working out again. I'm gonna start working out again, inshallah, starting Monday. Now that Ramadan's really come to a total close and everything, so. I mean, I know it's been over for a little while, but I'm still with my diet and my stomach and everything. I'm still in that Ramadan mode. My stomach I still can't fit a bunch of food in there. So, but now things are starting to loosen up again. So, I'm feeling that energy come back because I'm consuming more calories now. Yeah, inshallah. Who hurt you? I had this guidance counselor one time. That dude really hurt me, man. He hurt my feelings really bad, man. I hate that guy to this day. His name is Fred. He's Mexican. Hated his guts. He really got me good, man. He got me good. That guy hurt me. And it was nothing sexual. Weirdos, don't be talking no crazy. No, I actually, one thing I did change in terms of plant-based, in the morning, I have plant-based protein and it's non-soy. I have split pea protein and I have hemp protein. And if you use hemp protein, mix it with the split pea, and make it the vast minority. That hemp protein has so much fiber in it, bro. All you're going to do is have gas all day. That hemp protein is brutal on your stomach, dude. You're just going to be, I hate to say it, but you're going to be farting all day, dude. You won't be able to hold wudu for like 15 minutes. You make wudu and go pray now, That stuff is brutal, on your gut. So I'd say stick to the split pea. And if you use the hemp protein, then really mix it down like as an absolute minimal with split pea protein. That's the only vegetarian type of stuff I really do. I eat vegetables and whatnot, but I have a high protein diet, actually. Exactly. That's one of the problems that I had with turkey, the multiple wives thing. Black cat, that right there, multiple wives. I'm a man with multiple wives, and it's illegal. So, yeah. Yeah, for everybody asking about Turkey, they don't allow multiple wives. It's illegal. Now, I did hear, I don't know if it's correct, I have to research this, but I heard that you can enter the country with multiple wives. But once you're in the country, you can't marry more. Now, I don't know if that means you can leave the country, marry a wife, and then come back with a new wife, or if they say, okay, you came in the country with 2 wives and that's it, don't leave and come back with a third. I don't know. These are stuff I don't know and I have to research. So, yeah. But me as a man with multiple wives, I'm not gonna be like, well, sorry, babe. You know what? Sucks to be you. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by his toe. If he hollers, let him go. My mother said that you are not it. You're divorced by. I'm just taking her with me. I'm not gonna do that. I'd rather find a place that would accept me and all my wives, as opposed to like, deal with all that type of stuff. Best Middle Eastern country for crypto and get married multiple women in. Me and JW was talking about this on Halal Bad Boys back when he used to co-host with me. I'm not sure which Muslim countries allow for cryptocurrency. It's maybe something I need to cover in a topic in a show. I'll have to do some research though. I don't know which countries allow it. Multiple women's, the Gulf is real well. The Gulf is it's not even considered like, what do you call it, controversial there. You can go to the Gulf, to the Khalij. I can't think of a Khaliji state that it's like controversial. I don't know. I think someone might be sending me messages. Maybe I said something crazy, because sometimes brothers message me like, Abuamerican, you said something crazy. No. It's just on my crypto groups. Okay. Should I become a solicitor or pursue a startup? These can pay 7 feet, bro. I loathe giving like career advice. I really don't know what to tell you, bro. I'd say pursue what makes most money. I don't want to tell you do this and then not that. That's really like, what if it goes wrong? Double America's wrong. do what makes you the most money, in my humble estimation, and it's not going to make you miserable. That's the best advice I can give you. How to develop emotional fortitude to consistently practice dread game with your wife. My wife is very responsive to dread game, but I have a hard time not feeling bad about it. Okay, I talk about manipulating your wife to her benefit. And if you can do that, to where like you manipulate her to her benefit and it benefits you, and you got it right there to the mastery. So it's like you want her to do something for you, but at the same time, make sure it benefits her at the same time. I know it sounds crazy, but I always give the imperative, and it's hard for me to come up with like examples off the top of my head. I do it, but then it's like when I want to, because I do it so passively, it's never an active thought, and then it's hard to bring up an acting example. But I do give examples of like children. Children, you want them to brush their teeth, right? Because it's good for them. But kids hate brushing their teeth. So you tell them, well, if you brush your teeth, I'll get you a Tonka toy. I don't know, whatever else, Or if you do your homework, I'll give you $10. Obviously, you're manipulating them with a reward response to do something that they don't want to do, but benefits them. Brushing teeth, homework, this, that, the other, going to bed on time, whatever else. So you got to treat your wife in the same way. You say, yeah, I treat my wife like a kid. Yeah. They always say, your woman is the most responsible teenager in the house. So treat her like it. Don't be patronizing, but pollution is obviously real. But what they focus on in terms of like, because I did a year of environmental engineering with, believe it or not, the Open University in the United Kingdom. And what they focus on is incorrect. One of the bigger issues is like eutrophication of the seas. That's like a big issue. Who talks about that? They're talking about global warming, acid rain, this, that, the bugbear. They're talking about all these types of stuff, and nobody's talking about like major issues. Look up eutrophication. Look it up. It's a massive issue. Not a word. It's a massive issue. Nobody's talking about it. So it's like, I wouldn't believe mainstream media and science, because stuff that are real problems, they don't have any solutions to. And that's why they don't bring it up, because they can't find a way to tax you over it. Most, environmental issues in the West, it's some way to tax you. Carbon tax credits, this, that, the other. They find some way to tax you. But when, we talk about the eutrophication of the oceans, everybody's silent all of a sudden. How do we find people for this? So yes, pollution is real, but like what they talk about, no. Climate change, I absolutely reject. Climate change, human anthropological, what did they call it? Induced climate change or something. There was a term for it back in the days. I don't believe in. Absolutely not. I don't believe it. Heck, I was told the oceans would rise and global warming, this, that, the other. Just last week we had sunshine, and it's May. We had sunshine and snow in the same day. It's like, where's the summer, dude? Nothing is happening. It's like cold. I got my window open because I usually sweat during these shows, and I'm cold. It's May. What's going on here? Where's my global warming? I'm black. I want sun. They lied to me. I was happy. I was thinking the oceans were going to rise, and I'd like swim around and, be outside by myself because everybody else was worried about getting sunburned because black people don't get sunburned. I was like, yeah, the world is mine. Where's my global warming? Supposed to be my time. UAE is awesome. I love it there, man. Those brothers in UAE are kind of cool. Some of them are like, not cool, but UAE, I had a good experience there. Kuwait, I really loved, How would you enter your wives in the Muslim countries during Hijrah? Do they apply separately? No, I'd apply with them as my wives, inshallah. Yo links the feds, man. This is also a good one. That works also. Children is always a good way. Oh, wait. Sorry. This is the one I was trying to comment on. Why is it not working? What's going on here? Give me a second. I'm not sure if I'm on air anymore. Did I just get disconnected? Oh, there we go. Yeah, kids. That's a good one. All right, guys, I just froze up for a second there. I thought I got disconnected. So I was like just checking my phone to see if I was still on air. Yeah, that always works. Kids always works. I don't know the laws for the UAE. Stack sats. That's the best advice I have. Stack sats. Stack sats until you get Bitcoin, a full Bitcoin. Keep going. Yeah, just by practice. That's it. I just practice it, and it just became such an active process that I'd always like actively think it until the point it just became an automatic response at some point, to where it just became a passive thing. But that was years ago, dude. I mean, that it became passive. I don't know. Have you asked them? Yo, Link, you ever asked them? Go ask the scholars, man. I had coronavirus. My entire family had the coronavirus. I ain't scared of it. I don't think it's fake. I think coronavirus is real. I just don't think it's as serious as they're making it out to be. I had coronavirus. I don't even care. Dude, it's like 3 days of like a bad cold. Reading questions here, guys. Polygamy was outlawed in Turkey in 1926 and carries a 2-year jail sentence for violators. But with the recent influx of refugees into Turkey, most of them Syrian activists say the practice is on the rise. Allahu Alam. Okay, mashallah, good to know. No, you don't. I have experience with this. You don't have to be legally married. How to start mining crypto? Join my YouTube membership channel. I talk about a way to get into it. I don't think you really want to go into Ethereum mining right now. I think it's too risky, in my humble estimation, to start looking at Ethereum crypto mining, unless you go into ASICs mining. If you have cheap power, you get an ASICs miner, that makes you really good money really fast. ASICs miners, and Ethereum combined pay for my new car. I got a brand, I got a new BMW, customized BMW. Mining paid for it. Mashallah, Allahumma barak feek. But in terms of Ethereum mining, if you're in the West, I wouldn't get into it. You can join my members, the YouTube membership group. I talk about it in there. I give people the numbers, the figures, how to do it, all these types of things. Not like great detail on how to do it, but like some steps you could take to try and get involved in the projects, mining projects that are very profitable. You can check it out there, inshallah. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That was the same question. I just answered that. Why Hydra? Do you think a Bosnian situation will happen to Muslims in the West? Do you think it couldn't happen? It's more like the more question. What would prevent it from happening? We don't got too many friends around the world. So I'd be prepared for that. I mean, I love Saudi Arabia, man. Mashallah, I lived in Saudi Arabia on 2 different occasions. I lived in Saudi Arabia. I loved it, bro. I lived in Medina. That was amazing. I lived in the Eastern I lived in the Eastern province, and I didn't really find it as pleasurable as living in Medina. Definitely, if I move back, if I can make that move, then I would definitely move near like Medina or something like this. We got some brothers living out in Riyadh, and they're talking about it's amazing. So, I mean, that was my best experience in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. I'd go back. I don't know about the cost of living in Saudi right now. You'd have to ask some brothers about that who are there. I have the show with Muta Bill. He talks about the cost of living and whatnot in that show. I can't remember the details anymore. But again, this comes back to being industrious. Be industrious, make that money, bro. Make that money, homie. Inshallah. All the best to you. Can't give you more advice than that. I hope you find what you're looking for. Hour and 18 minutes, guys. I'll give it a couple more minutes here. Inshallah. What would you say is the biggest mistake Muslim men in the West make with women? They make the apotheosis of sisters. Apotheosis, if you don't know what apotheosis is, I will bring it up on the screen for you. One moment, please. Share screen. They wouldn't complete my residency visa, so I left. I just felt like they were jerking me. They kept on, giving me excuses as to why they couldn't do my visa, so I left. Right here, this is the biggest mistake that Muslim men make with women in the West. Definition 2 of apotheosis: the elevation of someone to divine status. That's what brothers do to sisters. Oh, they're angels who don't have desires, and we're just lowly, horny guys. Dude, sister's a bunch of horn dogs. Let me tell you that, bro. I've not met from the righteous to the irrighteous to the unrighteous that wasn't a bunch of horn dogs. Not a single one. That's not an insult. There's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely normal and healthy, and that's why Islam has prescribed the rules for men and women, between men and women, when it comes down to sexual contact between the two. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But everyone's, oh no, not sisters. There's no way my wife would be like that. Yeah, you're watching that girl. It's just you're not that guy, and therefore she doesn't treat you like that guy. You know why? Because she can't be that girl with you. Because you're like, oh, she's got a halo and she's so innocent and whatever else. Yeah, and then, her desires are in there running loose, like going crazy. And then, of course, she doesn't want anything to do with you because you're weak, because you're scared of her. That's the biggest mistake Muslim men make with sisters in the West. When she's married, that's your girl. And you know what she wants to be treated like? She wants to be treated like your girl. And she's got desires just like you do. And guys don't want to accept that women might actually have dirty minds. Hey, you know what? That's no problem. As long, you know what's wrong? If she uses that dirty mind in a haram way outside of a halal relationship. But when she gets married, bro, let that sister cut loose. She's married. It's her time. Let her have it. But brother's like, oh no, she's doing this and that. She wants this and that. Oh my God. Can't believe my wife has desires. Bro, dudes are a mess, man. They're a mess. They're a mess. They're scared of the idea that their women might actually be sexual beings. That's the biggest mistake that brothers make in the West. Believing that sisters don't have desires. Then when these horror stories come out of sisters dealing with non-Muslim guys who treat them like meat. You know what? And I hate to say it, man. I hate to say it. No, I don't hate to say it. It's true. You know what? They want to be treated like meat. Not in a bad way. I'm not talking about they want to be treated like bad. This is not what I'm saying. But they want to be respected, but at the same time, they want to be desired. Dude, let them have it. Guys are like, no, that can't be my sister. Thinks like want a guy do that to her. Actually, she does. I know. I married her. Let me tell you something. She's down. Yeah, what's the problem? It's halal. If it's halal, there's no problem. If she's doing something shameful outside of a marriage, khalas, throwing her a bus. But guys, they're a mess. It's terrible. That's the biggest mistake, in my humble estimation. What have we got about Somali sisters in the vetting process? I don't want to pick on any particular ethnicity. Somali sisters, man, they something special though. MashaAllah, barakallah, may Allah increase them. They some special sisters though. How do you think Muslim brothers should apply game to arranged marriages? Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible, of course. But the problem with arranged marriages is it's not a problem. Excuse me. Let me rephrase that. The issue with arranged marriages is that you have your family involved, which is good. Absolutely. This is what I promote the most, and primarily you get your family involved. But then you're not the go-to in the entire interaction. So it puts you sort of in a secondary not powerless, but subservient power structure. You're like junior and you want to be the dominant force in your marriage, and you want that to be the initial idea and concept. Not that, your dad comes along, hi, this is Ahmed. Oh, your dad's got his hand on your neck, hey, this is my son. I don't know how you guys do it. I'm just saying. So, even if it's not actual, hand on the neck type thing, it's just kind of that's the image that's portrayed, in my mind. But I might be wrong about this. I don't know how these things go down. Just make sure you have a dominant stance or position in that. And your father should play along with this. Your father should understand that, if he's involved, that he should push you forward as the dominant position, because you don't want to have a position where your father's looking like the authority in your upcoming marriage, or her father. Both men should understand this. and this should be discussed. This should be understood. But unfortunately, a lot of guys don't understand women. So a lot of times, you can set your son up for like a bad relationship. So you got to treat it in this regard, sort of like bro code type stuff. It's like, yo, bro's getting married. We're going to hook him up, and then the father-in-law and the father should like make it so that like, even if it's not real, I hate to say it, like he's the main authority. He's the go-to guy. As long as everything's been arranged and is correct, and, everything's been decided. A couple of times in the past, you said no to really question a sister in a marriage meeting. But then how do you do some of your vetting in person? No, in regards to stuff that's haram. If you're asking her about like if she's a virgin or stuff like this, Allahu alam if that's permissible. Because what is she supposed to do? You ask her if she's a virgin, what if she's not? Then you're asking her to admit a sin. It's not something that's permissible. So this is the type of stuff I'm talking about when I say this, like direct questioning. You can't ask them about sins. And then guys come along, they think, I'm going to be slick here. You're a virgin? You have to ask a scholar. I personally, I don't know. I don't know. Because what if she's not? Then you've pushed her into a lie. And if you find out, then she's become a liar. But then what is she supposed to tell you? You see what I'm saying? And then if she does say yes, then you've got her to admit a sin, which is not permissible. Going around people asking people for their sins. We're not Christians. We don't have like confessions. And so that's what I'm talking about. And when I say direct questions. The West does something to you when you're just afraid of upsetting women, and women because they got this power dynamic where women can just say he was a bad guy to me, and then everybody jumps on your neck. I think you guys have seen this on Twitter. Anybody who follows me on Twitter knows that, like, the moment anybody says, oh, Abuamerican, how could you, brothers will come, sisters will say some crazy, wild stuff on my Twitter. They'll say the most ridiculous stuff, and they'll be like, and I'll just be like, man, I'll say like, oh, okay, you crazy or something, like, I'll call her crazy or nuts or whatever. I'll say, oh, how can you talk to a sister like that? It's like, did you see how the sister was talking just now? Oh, well, she's a sister, don't talk to her. Like, she talking like a freaking savage. Sister's talking reckless. Dude somehow missed this. So I don't know, man. I have had a very good experience on multiple times, in terms of with Indonesian women. I've talked to multiple Indonesian women about marriage. Man, they some pretty decent sisters, mashallah. Yo, Link, you wild, bro. Fella, what's wrong with you, man? Yo, Link, what's wrong with you, man? Mashallah. Yeah, okay, yeah, yo, Link, sure. Yeah. Best way to become assertive. Put yourself in a position where you have to be. There's a job that requires, like, authority or assertiveness, or you to work on your own on a project that's difficult. You're going to become assertive when, like, the responsibility is on your neck to make sure it gets done right. Either you're going to fail or you're going to be assertive. Put yourself in a position to be assertive. Put yourself in those uncomfortable positions. I'm opposed to showing your wealth. Sorry, going back to the statement here. If you are wealthy, is it a good idea not to show your future wife you're wealthy, to see your true colors? I mean, there's different positions on this. I never lead on to how much money I have. Today, I sent pictures, out of my new car. Yeah, mashallah, it's nice. And then the girl asked me, "Why are you always acting like you broke?" She literally sent me this. She said, "Why do you always acting like you're broke?" I ain't broke. I'm just stingy. I said, "Who told you I was broke? Why do you think I'm broke? I'm just stingy. I just don't like to spend money on stupid stuff. I got my specific things I spend my money on." And so then she's all like, "Oh wow, mashallah, I'm American. You got money." I got money. I just don't spend it. It's mine. You know how hard it was for me to get this? I'm not like afraid it's going to go away. I just like my money. I like my money. I like watching the numbers go up on my portfolio thing. I love it. I go on there every day and my wife thinks I'm crazy. I'm like, I was giggling like some madman, like, you remember Donald Duck Scrooge? Donald Duck Scrooge? Yeah, that's me. I don't like showing them my wealth. Not because I'm stingy to the point I wouldn't spend on my wife. My wife will tell you. I mean, I went out and bought myself a car, and I don't know about her feet. I bought her a gift, because I was like, I got myself something, so let me get her something. So I bought her some gifts. She totally didn't expect it. She was totally surprised. I'm not a stingy dude, but I just don't like showing my wealth. It's like, what are you in the marriage for? I don't like answering questions about what I do. Sisters ask me what I do. I'm like, why? You looking for a job? We got positions open, but I got a job for you as a wife. So why are you asking me what I do? You want to marry me, or you want to marry the man who's doing a particular job? I just don't like talking about any of that stuff. I just, why? Because your wealth is not who you are. Your job is not who you are. So I don't like to talk about sisters. I don't like to talk to sisters about anything that's not connected to who I am or who she is. I'm an English teacher that's a project manager at a construction site, at a construction company. What is my job going to tell you? And I'm just bringing this in the job. The same thing applies to money. What is that going to tell you about me? I studied to be an English teacher. I'm working. What does that tell you? Well, the guy just has a weird work history. Wow, you know so much now, sister. What is it going to tell you if you got a bunch of money? Don't let her see it. She needs to know who you are. She needs to figure out who you are, and your money is not who you are. And if it is who you are, then you got problems. You got problems that you need to work on, Not too many, bro. I don't know too many thoughts on Pirate Chain. If you're looking for a privacy coin, XMR is my is my go-to for privacy coins. Pirate Chain, I think, is new. It's not, it's not that old. I've heard people talking about it, but I absolutely know nothing about it. I've just heard about it. That's all. When it comes down to privacy coins, I'm an XMR man. Excuse me. Yeah, they have to be. They have to be. This is something I learned from the red pill world. It's called ASD, anti-slut defense, and it's valid. I don't blame sisters for it if it's valid. If it's valid, I don't blame them for it. No sister wants to be viewed as a hoe. No woman wants to be. Even if they are a hoe, they don't want to be viewed as a hoe. So if they're just defending their honor, and it's valid, they actually have honor. They're not actually a hoe. That makes sense. But if she's a hoe trying to act like a housewife, she can throw under a bus. Inshallah. Yeah, that'll work too. That's not what I meant, but I suppose that'll work. Bro, the thing is, like, I'm not really familiar with arranged marriages. So, it's very difficult for me to comment on something that I'm not really familiar with. I have to see the dynamic at play to see how it plays out in multiple times in order to get a concept of what could possibly or what is actually going wrong. And I've never been, obviously, because it's a very close family affair, I've never been privy to this, so I have really no idea how it works, But it would seem when it comes down to one-to-one consultations, they are the least in consultations that I get, arranged marriages. I think out of all of my consultations, 2 have been arranged marriages, and I've had a lot of consultations. I had just had one recently. My last consultation was from an arranged marriage, and one like 2 years ago. So, I mean, they tend to work out pretty well, I think, or either that or they just get divorced silently. But what appears to me, they work out pretty well. Nice. No, not Abu. I meant you said that you don't ask too many questions because you're giving too much attention. I mean, yeah. I mean, look, when you're dealing with these women on a one-to-one basis, which I don't, which you obviously should, try and avoid as best as possible. Yeah, you don't want to just sit there and give them a bunch of, attention and validation. It's like you're trying to go somewhere. You're trying to get married, right? So don't spend a bunch of time talking, chit-chat, and this, that, the other, texting back and forth. All you're doing is giving her time and validation and filling up her boring, empty life. Them sisters that just want to talk all day, they have boring, miserable, empty lives, and they're just filling it with you. And when they're filling it with you, they have no intention of getting married. So don't end up in that position is what I mean. I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, that's what I mean. Don't spend a bunch of time. Figure out what these sisters are doing, if they're serious or not. Get to the wali as quickly as possible because you want to get married. Because if she could chat to you now, why can't she chat to you when you're married? What's the difference? Why spend a year chatting when you can get married and chat for a year and have sex and live together like a couple? So what's to prevent her from doing that? Why on earth would you spend all this time talking to her? It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, okay, well, look, we've been chatting for a week straight. Why don't I talk to your wali? Let's get married and we can chat for forever, inshallah. Oh no, it's too fast. What? You spent a week talking to you. How many more weeks we're gonna spend talking to each other? When's it not gonna be too fast? 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 42 weeks, bro. They're just wasting your time. They just want to fill the emptiness in their life, the void in their life. You're filling that void of a husband without being the husband. Don't do it. I mean, yeah, it's obvious Islamically that you take care of the woman. You are, we are providers. That's, whether the red pill world likes that or not, Islamically, we are the maintainers and protectors of women. It's what we do. It's Muslim men. That's in our religion. So, but why does she need to know how much money you have? In terms of if we're coming on to the topic of like her knowing how much money you have. Yeah, obviously you spend the money. That's your job. My wife doesn't spend the money. I go out, I go shopping, I pay the rent, I make sure the electricity's on and all that type of stuff. That's my job. But does she need to know how much money I have? Do you need to know how much money I have?
Oh, what for?
There you go. Yeah, what for? See, she can open up the fridge and there's steaks, chicken, this, that, the other. What she need? What she need to know? She just needs to know there's food in the kitchen. That's what she needs to know. You know what I mean? I disagree. He also says that men that don't have lavish lifestyle end up getting average women. I don't consider that accurate. Because he got hot women before he had money. Before I had money, I got hot women. You got money, you just get more hot women. You can see the guys who didn't have hot women before they had money. You can just see them. This is something.
You can see the thirst.
Yeah, you can see the thirst. It's really so. I mean, either you got it or you don't. You know what I mean? So I disagree with that because he was a guy who had women lined up before he had money, and so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I have to ask him about that. I got to talk to him about it. I'm gonna ask him about that. I got to ask him to reconcile that logic for me. I was supposed to meet up with him in Munich. He was in Munich recently, and he asked me to come down, but I couldn't make it. Yeah, because I didn't pick up my car. He was there, and I said I need to pick up my car on Saturday. It was last week, actually. No, it was not last week. This week, I think it was like Thursday. I was supposed to go down and meet him, but I didn't have my car. But he's coming back, so I'll ask him when I meet him again, inshallah. Whew. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. ZB, do this for me. Come back to Blockchain Bros tomorrow. I have a lot to say on Ethereum, inshallah. I got a lot to say. Yeah, I can't hide it now. Now that I'm driving this blingy car, I can't hide it anymore. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might keep my junker. It's not a junker, but I might keep my old car. Just drive that thing around. I don't know. But yeah, now that I got my new car, I don't know. I can't hide it anymore. Yeah. Doesn't your future father-in-law ask you about your wealth and what you do and make sure that you can look after his daughter in the future? I've never had a Wali ask me this. Not one time. They've asked me a lot of stuff, but they never asked me if I could take care, like, how much money I make. I've never had a guy ask me that. No, I haven't. Not one time. They've asked me a lot of stuff, but never about my money. Ooh, Allahu Alam. As far as I know, it's makruh. As far as I know, smoking is makruh. That's the last ruling I ever heard. But I heard a brother recently say that it was impermissible. And it's a brother I trust, but I never saw the ruling. I never saw the dalil. The dalil I have seen is that it's makruh. So maybe something's changed and he knows. But the brother that said it actually was let me check with him. I don't know. The last thing I heard was makruh, and then I heard a brother say it was impermissible. And this brother I trust, he's very knowledgeable in the religion, so maybe there was a ruling that he read that held it to be impermissible. I don't know. What I know it to be is makruh. Allahu Alam, bro. XMR has actually been a good performer, despite all the pressure against it from, I do believe it was the SEC also. They're going for like library, and they're going for LBC, XMR, and a few other coins. And XMR actually climbed pretty significantly. When I first started looking at the idea of mining XMR, it was like at $200-something. Ooh, the markets are back up. Wow, look at that. Look at all that green. Yeah, so now it's back down to about $230-something. But recently, it was over 400. So I remember it was like almost $400. Where is it? Huh? Where'd it go? Was I dreaming? Oh, that's 24 hours. Stupid. I'm like, where'd it go? It was like 24 hours. So let me see. It's peaked at $490. It peaked at almost $500. XMR has been a good performer, but it's back down to $200 something. It got hit like everything else in this correction, in this current correction we're in. Fast metabolism and want to add muscle mass, but eating a lot drains my energy levels. I'm more focused when I feel less full. Any advice? You're gonna have to ask a specialist, bro. I wish I could help you with this. Maybe like AJ Cortez or something. These guys are specialists in that. He actually has a guide for like, guys with high metabolisms on gaining weight and whatnot. I've always just been a natural gainer. But when I was young, I actually had the same problem. Just high metabolism, wouldn't put on weight and muscle. Now it's like, bro, I just, I look at a weight and that thing just, I get like muscle popped out my neck, It's like, so, Allah, man. I'd say ask the specialist, AJ Cortez. We used to have that brother in the community that was a real specialist. He's a power lifter, but he just disappeared off the map. He started a business and just disappeared. I'd say, so in that regard, I would say ask AJ Cortez. He's like the most, who else would there be that's in the fitness industry? He's the only one that comes to my mind right now. Yeah, I agree. You can totally be broken like half hot women. This is known. No, it's possible. It's possible. I just think people aren't active in raising their kids anymore, And so, yeah, I think the problems that are associated with that, disconnected parenting, we're seeing the fruits of that now. Guys, Barakallahu Feek. Let me stop tripping over my tongue here. Barakallahu Feek for tuning in. Jazakallah khair. Inshallah, I've been of some sort of benefit to you guys. Inshallah. If you want to contact me, I'm just reading the question here. Yes and no. When you get older, just everything changes. So yeah, you get creaky joints and whatnot. Yes, that does happen. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for all the questions. Inshallah, if you have any questions you want to contact me personally, obviously you can go to my website, Abuamerican.com. As you see down here. Oh, why does it change? My name's supposed to say Abuamerican. It says Abuamerican. It's supposed to be Abuamerican.com. Whatever. Abuamerican.com. You can check me out there. You can ask questions there. You can hit the chat bot, or you can do the contact form if there is one available. If there's no contact form available, just the chat bot, the little chat window. If the bot's not working, I still get the messages. And yeah, I'll get back to you, inshallah ta'ala. I'll get a notification on my phone and I will respond to you. Or do you have my chat bot information?
No.
No, then I'll get back to you. نعم بارك الله فيك سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته